place like this demands a lot of money, especially in the summertime. Could go for which I know is crazy. Welcome to the best part of the house. This is, I guess we can call it the man cave.
Who are those for?
We flew these roses in from Monaco on the chopper. The most successful people that I know, billionaires, massive celebrities, they live on this thing. So I bought Palantir, you can see all the prices. I probably bought like maybe 10 or 20.
1,000?
Million. What's good everybody, and welcome back to another video. It's been a long time, I know, I apologize, but I'm very glad to see you guys again. Sometimes you need to have some breaks, and I'm sure everyone has been paying attention to the world economy right now. A lot of stuff going on, Donald Trump, tariff, stock market crashes. Yes, we're gonna touch on all of that in this video, but I'm here right now in the south of France. I've been here for the last month. I felt a little bit overstimulated and a little bit distracted in the last few major cities that I've been. So I wanted to come here to a nice quiet place to completely focus and have zero distractions. So I'm gonna be taking you on a raw day in my life. I wanna show you guys exactly what I do from morning to night. I think it's really cool to showcase these things because when I was younger, I was very obsessed with other successful people's mindsets, routines, and just how they operated and lived their lives. I remember a lot of the books and videos that I used to watch when I was a teenager really did inspire and motivate me. And so that's why I love to make these videos, because I always think about myself when I was younger and a lot of the things that I was trying to find and absorb, which are the things that helped me get to where I am today. In case that motivates or inspires anybody else, that's why I love making these videos. So now we're gonna start day in the life in the south of France. Let's go downstairs and I'll begin my morning routine. So now that I've gotten ready, the very first thing that I do is I come downstairs, I grab a bottle of water. Now, usually I always drink water out of glass bottles. The reason is because the plastic actually leaches into the water. And so you're not only drinking water, you're drinking the microplastics and all sorts of other things that are not good for you. Today, we've run out of the glass water. So this is what I've got today. But usually, and even when I didn't have a lot of money, I would still always spend extra to buy the glass bottles of water. You can buy Evian, you can buy whatever brand it is in glass. It's not that much more expensive. And after some time, when you go back from drinking glass to plastic, you can taste the difference. Like, I can now taste the plastic in the water. So that's why it's important. Glass bottles of water, or if you can, get a filter your water. Sometimes you can install one in your house. So when we wake up, we're all dehydrated. What I started doing a few years ago is I started putting these electrolytes in my water, and now I absorb my water much more. A lot of people don't realize this. They say that you should drink 2-3 liters per day. But when you overdrink water, you're not doing anything but dehydrating yourself. So drinking electrolytes actually will help to hydrate you, because drinking 2 to 3 liters of water, it's not doing enough. A lot of electrolyte brands, they have a lot of adders and a lot of fillers. Now, a lot of people think that they're putting electrolytes in their water and it's healthy, but a lot of brands are not healthy. Make sure you check all the ingredients inside, because sometimes they add a lot of other things that are unnecessary and you're doing more damage to your body by drinking this than not drinking it. So make sure you always check. If you're unsure of what these things are, you can take a photo, you can put it into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will tell you everything that you need to know about whatever brand you're drinking. So I was a big coffee person for the better part of a decade, and every single morning I would start my day with coffee. Now, I know a lot of people love to start their morning with coffee, but I will say one thing: make sure you drink collagen before you have a coffee, because if you have a coffee on an empty stomach, it overstimulates you and it's actually very bad for your stomach. I noticed that when I was in my heavy coffee days, when I started drinking collagen before I would have the coffee, it was a massive difference for me. So I don't actually drink coffee on an empty stomach anymore. I don't like to eat first thing in the morning, so I'll always drink the collagen. Sometimes you can put the collagen in the coffee, and then it's much better for you and your overall health. So I actually started experimenting a few months ago with quitting coffee. And the difference with how I felt was actually pretty big. I slept better, I had more energy, and I thought better. And I think in stressful periods, which almost every day for me is stressful because of how many things I'm doing in my life, I noticed a very, very big difference. But the problem with that is how much I love coffee. Like, I'm a coffee addict. I tried to quit cold turkey and I realized that I just can't do that. Because even though I feel better off it, I also feel other benefits while I'm on it. So the conclusion I came to was that I now just drink coffee on the weekends, and then during the week, which are the days that I'm completely focused and locked in, I won't touch it. I'll supplement that with the green tea or the matcha. But now it's the weekend, so that means I can indulge and I can actually enjoy some coffee. I don't like these coffee pod machines, these Nespressos. Generally, I prefer to have a manual machine where you can choose the coffee beans yourself and you can make it yourself. Much better that way. But this isn't my house, this is a vacation house. This is the best we have. There's not too many coffee options close by. The closest coffee shop is Starbucks, which is a 20-minute drive. So for now, this is the best that I've got. Now time to make this coffee, and then we're gonna go outside and do some grounding. The very first thing that I love to do is to put my feet on the earth. I love the feeling of walking around. We're in nature, fresh air. This is one of my favorite things to do. Like, I love being outside, in the outdoors, in a very quiet, calming environment. It's a night and day difference, guys. Like, between living in a major busy city and being somewhere like this, it's crazy. Like, some of the best ideas and some of my best thoughts usually only ever happen in nature. So that's why I love to be in a place like this. And if you can, get outside on the earth, put your feet in the ground. It's gonna make you feel a lot better, think a lot better, sleep a lot better. Your health will thank you for it.
So why do you like the south of France so much?
It's a good question. Firstly, I want to be in a big compound house like this that is in the middle of nowhere and I can feel completely isolated. I want to come to a place where I can completely lock in, focus and think and not have any distractions. But it needs to be in a place that looks like this, you know? You don't find too many houses that look like this in too many cities around the world that have this much nature, that are in Europe, and that have really good air quality. Like, these are some big factors for me. And one of the most amazing things is if I get bored or I get tired of being in a place like this for too long, it's very easy for me to just hop onto a plane and fly 45 minutes and now I'm in a different country. You can't do that in too many places around the world. Monaco is literally just a 45-minute drive. So if I want, 45 minutes from now, I can be in Monaco. The proximity to the south of France, to the rest of Europe is massive. And it's a very convenient place. Like, if you're getting tired and you're getting restless and you want to go somewhere else, you can quickly dip out and then come back. And so many massive celebrities live here. When I started hearing the names, like Johnny Depp is down there and George Clooney is over here, it's definitely a place that attracts a lot of wealth and a lot of powerful people. So now I understand why. All right, so now I finished my coffee, now I finished my grounding, so I'm gonna go inside and I'm gonna take some calls and begin my day. All right, so now I know that you see a lot of these bullshit viral clips of people doing their morning routine, and so many of them are without them grabbing their phone very first thing in the morning. For me, it's absolutely crucial. I check my phone. The very first thing that I check is actually the stock market. I want to see what's going on, and timing is everything, you know? Like, a great example is the other day, Trump posted a tweet and it said something like, "Now is a great time to buy." So he basically gave a fucking call signal for everybody to buy, because later on that day, what did he do? He announced that he was doing a 90-day pause for the tariffs. So who benefited and profited off that? The people that did were the people that were on their phones, that were on their computers, and that saw that tweet straight away. That was one of the easiest entries for so many stocks. Like, if you're able to catch it right at the start, then boom, it takes off and you profit. And that's why I'm always on my phone. The most successful people that I know, billionaires, massive celebrities, they live on this thing. So yeah, I know that, of course, it would be very beneficial to start your day without checking your phone. I used to do it when I was younger. I definitely did do it. And the difference is massive. If you don't check your phone for 30 minutes or 1 hour, you go and do your routine, you go have a tea, you go have a coffee, you go outside, you ground, you clear your mind, you clear your thoughts, and then you grab your phone, your day will be night and day difference. But for somebody like me, I can't be doing that. As soon as I wake up to the minute I go to sleep, I'm on my phone and I'm checking everything that's going on. And I think that that's extremely important for most people, especially with what's going on right now in the world. So now I'm gonna do some calls and do all the calls that I need to do for today out of the way. And then I'm gonna go to my journal. I know a lot of people use notebooks, and I have a notebook too. I don't use this for anything else but contracts. Sometimes in my life, some certain periods, I maybe am going in a direction that I don't want to be going. So there's something that I really want to change in my life, something that I haven't changed in my life, and something that's been dragging on for too long. Now, something that I'm sure that we all do every single day. There's something that you want to change about yourself. You'll generally in your mind say, tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll do it. And then what happens? When tomorrow comes, you then say to yourself again, it's okay tomorrow. And then the next day comes, tomorrow. So what I do is contracts. So I like to create contracts with myself for a certain period of time. So let's just use an example, right? Something that I think a lot of people struggle with is drinking. Now I think that if you're young, you're hungry, you're motivated, that drinking shouldn't be part of your life until you've accomplished the things that you want to accomplish. I'm not against drinking. I just think that there needs to be a reason why you celebrate. Alcohol should be used as a tool, in my opinion, as a way to reward yourself. When I was younger, like a lot of young kids, I smoked weed. What I noticed with a lot of my friends was that they would completely abuse it and not know when to smoke. It didn't add any benefit in their life. It only slowed down their goals further. So what I would do if I was smoking weed or if I was drinking, which I don't do either anymore, I'd want to give myself a reason to reward myself. So if I had a full week of work and things and goals that I wanted to accomplish, things I wanted to check off my list, only after I felt like I had done those would I then reward myself with whatever it was. Whether it's drinking, whether it's smoking a cigar, whether it's indulging in something that's not the best for us, but I think that these vices need to be looked at as a reward for achieving something. We can't just be overindulging in a world of overindulgence. Every person on this planet indulges way too much. This is not how it was 100 years ago. You shouldn't just drink when you feel like drinking, because the next day there's a punishment for that. There's a penalty for that. So why would you punish yourself and set yourself further back when you can't even accomplish the things that you keep telling yourself that you're going to accomplish right now? So what I do is I create a contract with myself and I say, on this date, in this location, and it's made to myself, so it's to Julian, I will say, as of today, I am going to be quitting, let's just use chocolate as an example. As of today, for the next 30 days, I'm going to be quitting chocolate until I have done the following things. What I will do is I will list out the consequences if I break this contract with myself. These can be things as simple as money, like maybe you have to contribute money in a certain way that you didn't want to somewhere. I won't go into specifics. I'll leave that to you to decide. It can be things that you really don't want to do in your life. My rules are a bit too crazy, and so I wouldn't want to say them, but another great way to look at this is you're also creating this contract with God. Now, whoever your God is and whichever God you believe in, you should think that they are also watching you and participating in this contract. So if you break this contract, you're also breaking this contract with God. And there are punishments. You lied to yourself and you lied to God. So I know that that may sound extreme, but this method that I've had for a while is a very, very good way to hold myself accountable, because I'm always at the back of my mind thinking if I break this contract, then I'm gonna have to pay the price. Another great way to do this is to create a contract with somebody else. So imagine it's one of your family members or your girlfriend. You write out whatever the terms are, and they are the person that's guaranteeing this contract. So if you break this contract, then you may have to pay them something, or you may have to do something for them, something that you really, really don't want to do, and something that is so unforgiving that makes you not want to break this contract. This is a very, very good way to hold yourself accountable, and something that I've been doing for a very long time. So there's a contract that I want to make with myself today. So I'm going to do that now. All right, so this is the part of the video that everybody's probably the most interested in, which is talking about the stock market. And during my day, I always have something on the television. So generally, CNBC is playing in the background, and that's because I want to see what's going on. All the breaking economic news is generally gonna come here first. So if I'm not on Twitter or I'm busy doing something else and I'm in here working or on my laptop, I've at least got that, and then I can kind of monitor what's going on in the background. So I don't usually have an office set up. I like to be free roaming with my computer, so I'll just take my computer wherever I am. So now I'm gonna sit down here with my laptop, and then I'm gonna assess the markets and assess what's going on. All right, so the stock market, let's get right into it. It's been absolutely fucking crazy. This is by far the most insane thing that I've personally seen in all my years in the market. Now, I am still a bit too young to have gone through the '08 crash, so my only real experiences with market crashes or corrections are probably just COVID and the other small bear markets in the years prior. Now, those bear markets were just basic corrections that had to occur because of potential worries about recessions, potential worries about inflation, and those are very basic and straightforward things that with time, a normal investor like myself doesn't stress about, because you would know in the future, whether it takes 6 months, whether it takes 2 years, eventually things are going to turn back around and things are going to recover, because we have so much historical data with the stock market that we can look back and say, this is only going to be short-lived. Now, of course, I believe that with Trump as well, but the number one cause for concern right now in the stock market is the uncertainty. Every day there's another headline or another tweet or something else that can change the momentum from positive to negative. The amount of things that I've seen in the stock market in the last few weeks, I still can't wrap my head around. I remember everybody was very nervous about Liberation Day. And on my Twitter, which you should go and follow, I posted this tweet and I said, either today is going to be Liberation Day or Liquidation Day. And it turned out to be Liquidation Day. But the stock market, ever since hearing about the tariffs the month prior, had been very nervous about these Liberation Day events. So the markets had already priced in everything that occurred. They already knew that tariffs were going to be announced. They thought that it was just going to be 10% across the board. Like, there weren't a lot of people that were anticipating what Trump would walk out and what he would do. The numbers that he held on that board were fucking insane. That shocked the whole world. There wasn't a single financial analyst out of any of these big hedge funds or anybody that could have seen that coming. And honestly, the numbers that he got to on that board, when I saw those, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. And so I remember I was watching the markets as this guy was speaking. The market closed, Trump comes out, he starts talking, he announces some of the existing things that we already knew about, and the stock market in the aftermarket starts to rally. Things shoot up crazy. And I was like, oh, it's over. Then he pulls out that fucking poster, and as he pulls out the poster, the market tanks. I've not seen anything like that before. Like, the whole market, after just going on a crazy rally, 45 seconds later, completely tanks. And the next 3 days, we experienced some of the most historical days in the stock market ever. And now it's just been ping pong in the markets, green, red all day, every day since Liberation Day. It's been a very uncertain, chaotic period for me and for anybody that's witnessing the stock markets right now. Despite all this chaos, all this uncertainty, you have to not pay attention to the noise right now and look further ahead. Further ahead could be months, it could take a year. Nobody knows, because this is a man-made problem and only one person has all the power and all the cards in their hand. Literally, one tweet can change everything. Just how Trump the other day, he said today's a good day to buy, and then what happens? A few hours later, he announces a 90-day pause, and the stock market has one of the most insane rallies that I've ever seen in my life. If we look back at all the historical data, this again will be short-lived and everything will move on and carry on. Do we enter a bear market? Does that mean that the bull market is now over? Honestly, I don't know. And I don't think anybody should be giving their 2 cents when this all comes down to one human, one person. So I shouldn't be giving my opinion because I don't know what the fuck Trump's gonna do. You know, I hope that this is all a bargaining tactic that he's using to create chaos and create some leverage for himself so that he can get better deals across the board for all the countries that he's trying to go back and forth with. But one of the craziest things for me is trying to go tit for tat with China, knowing the type of leadership that China has and knowing how strong they want to appear to the rest of the world, they won't back down at a lot of this shit. Like every single time that he announces higher tariffs, they just come back with another tariff and another tariff, and they keep going back and forth like ping pong, and it seems like it's going to be never ending. So I really hope these deals can come about quickly, and then all of this is left in the past, and then we can move forward. But of course, the more weeks and months that this drags out, the more instability and cracks it show, and that always takes a long time to rebuild from. Though in saying all of this, this hasn't stopped me from making purchases during all of these moments. There have been some incredible buying opportunities. Some stocks got absolutely plummeted on that Monday, and if you were able to catch any of these stocks during that period, you'd be up a lot right now, because the markets have, recovered slightly since then. They're still down from their all-time highs, but things have recovered slightly. And so if you were able to capture some over the last week, you definitely would be in a good position right now. Though, who knows what might happen. I'm not going to give my opinion because it's just too uncertain at the moment. I'm gonna stick to my philosophy and to my principles, which is I just hold. I'm a long-term investor. I buy the companies that I think have a long-term future, and I wait, I hold, and eventually we see whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong.
So what stocks have you been buying during this period?
Now I'm gonna show you some that I've bought. So I have made, I'm just checking now, between April 6th to April 12th, so the last 7 days, shows you right here that I've made 1,956 trades. Now there's a lot of uncertainty right now around China, and I have been getting into Chinese stocks over the last few months. One company that I'm very bullish on is XPeng, and XPeng is a Chinese EV company. BYD, another one. Even regardless of all the tariff stuff, which I do think is like short-term noise, like I think that I don't care how long it has to take. I just look at what this company is doing and how they're executing. The stuff they're doing is insane. They've taken a lot of the stuff that's already out there and they're replicating it, and they may be doing it even better than companies like Tesla, and they're doing it even cheaper than companies like Tesla. So a great headline that came out the other day was that Europe is thinking about removing the tariffs to Chinese EV cars. That's very, very bullish. So if Europe is able to get rid of these tariffs and make these Chinese car companies come in and not have to pay anything, then it's going to be a very difficult time for companies like Tesla. Now, I still own Tesla, and I even have been buying more during this whole period, though I did want to start getting exposure to some of the competitors. It's a big market for these cars now, and one of the main reasons why they haven't blown up and taken over is because a lot of the restrictions preventing them. Like in America, the tariffs are massive. Even before Trump came in, they were massive. If you've ever sat in a Chinese EV and then you sit in a Tesla, you start to question, like, how are they able to execute this for even less cost than Tesla? So China is going full steam ahead and is most likely going to take over everything. Like, I don't really see a future without China being number one. I don't know how America is going to be able to compete with a country like China in the future. But anyway, I'm going to show you some of the purchases. So I bought Palantir. You can see all the prices. You can see how much.
So how much of that did you buy?
In this week, during the correction, I probably bought like maybe 10 or 20.
1,000?
Million. Robinhood, I added to my position already. Most people know I'm very bullish Robinhood. Probably added like close to another 3 million to Robinhood. The main benefactor of all of this volatility are platforms like Robinhood, They make massive fees when people are trading, and these last few weeks have been so much volume. So Robinhood, I bought on the dips, and I'm still very, very bullish Robinhood for the future. Now, could there be more short-term pain? I'm not sure. This is not investment advice. I'm not telling you to buy these companies. I'm specifically just telling you what I buy and what I do. There are many more stocks that I bought during this recent downturn. I don't need to show them all. I think that's boring. But definitely do your research, do your homework. And if this is a short-lived experience, this may be one of the greatest times in the last decade to have gotten into the stock market. So what else do you want to know?
I mean, I think this house is pretty crazy.
All right, you want to do a house tour?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do a house tour. All right, so now it's time for a quick house tour. As you can see, we're on a lot of land here. We're in a compound in a gated community. It's a really amazing house, and living in a place like this can be very, very beneficial. So it doesn't matter where you are, but I think that at one stage in your life, you should definitely try and come to a place like this. It doesn't need to be in Europe. It can be in a place like Bali. It can be in Thailand. Get a house that's peaceful, that's quiet, that has everything that you need, so you don't need to go anywhere, and you will notice how different you feel after it. So let's begin. This is the house. We're in the south of France. I'm not gonna say exactly where, but let's go inside and I'll show you around.
So how much does a place like this cost per night?
So a place like this is expensive. Like south of France is expensive. Now, all the reasons I listed before, proximity, where we are, close to everything in Europe, the climate being warm all year round, and especially like who your neighbors are. A place like this commands a lot of money, especially in the summertime, could go for $10,000 to $15,000 per day, which I know is fucking crazy. But there are people out there that pay that. And I've met people that own houses out here, and when I learned about the ratio, like how much a property costs versus what they can rent it out for, it may be one of the highest grossing places for rental returns. Like, you know, if you buy a house for 5 million euros here, in the summer, you can rent that out for between 5,000 to 7,000 euros per day, which is absolutely insane. Because if you were in a place like, let's say, Sydney, Australia, and you owned a house that was $5 to $7 million worth, you wouldn't get anything close to that level of money. Like, you might get 10% of that if you're lucky. All right, so this is the kitchen. This kitchen doesn't get used. I would love to have a chef when I'm out here, but I haven't tried to do that because I wanted to like completely isolate myself and not have too many people around. I've just been ordering Uber Eats for absolutely everything. It's pretty cool because this area still does get Uber and Uber Eats, which I think is very, very important. When you're this isolated and you have this much land, in most cities around the world that I've seen a place like this, usually you can't even call a taxi. You're not able to have those conveniences, and those are very important. So I've just been Ubering everything, and yeah, this kitchen doesn't get used. We do have the wine cabinet filled with wine that I'm not going to be drinking, but maybe the cameraman can have a few bottles after this video is done, because he'll be celebrating that we finally made a video after 1 month. All right, dining area, nothing crazy to see here. My favorite area of the house is this living room. Really nice, big, spacious living room. The only thing that I don't really like about this house is the artwork. All the artwork in this house feels like, you know those Instagram ads that you get for those weird pieces of artwork? It's kind of like that, right? I've been getting those ads for years. I didn't think anybody bought them, but we now know exactly where those pieces of art have landed. In this house. He seems to have bought all of them. We got a monkey here smoking a Cuban. Honestly, looks like an NFT project. The room is really nice. This is the only thing that I don't like about this house, is just the art. Got the crazy sound system. Sound system is everywhere. We've also got fresh roses.
Who are those for?
Every room. We got direct from Monaco. Flew them in on the chopper directly just to have them ready. All right, so the house has 5 bedrooms. There's a few on this level and then a couple upstairs. Nothing crazy to see here. The one thing that I do love about this house though is that the owners have obviously put a lot of effort into the sound system. Like, they've got crazy speakers everywhere, and that's an absolute staple and essential in all the houses that I'll ever live in. Like, I have the craziest sound systems, the craziest TVs, projectors, all of that stuff. I really care a lot about entertainment, and so these guys also do too. I love when I can listen to good quality music and TVs and that sort of stuff. So, got the outside area. Obviously, we're on a lot of land. Incredible garden. We got the pool, doesn't get used at all, but yeah, it's a really nice outside area, and especially when it's sunny, you come out here, you just walk back and forth. I get a lot of ideas, I have a lot of thoughts. Whenever I'm a little bit stressed out, I just go outside and I start to feel way better. So we got 2 options in this house. We can take the stairs or we can take the elevator. Usually I take the stairs, but for the video, we'll take the elevator and go up. This is what I mean about that artwork. I know you guys have seen that on those Instagram ads. House is beautiful, but this artwork's gotta go. So upstairs there's 3 bedrooms. The master bedroom is beautiful. Come on in. Crazy art. We've got the Louis Vuitton fire extinguisher. We've got the Hermes bear over there. But yeah, waking up here every day. I know the weather's pretty bad right now. It is quite gloomy, so it doesn't look as spectacular as it usually does. But waking up, coming here, looking at this view is actually nuts. One of my favorite views ever. I love to just stare at trees and stare at the horizon in the back. So this room is awesome. And got the TV, got the sound system, again, Sonos everywhere, all in the ceilings. I know that you're not meant to do this. I know all the biohackers tell you don't have any blue light before bed, but since I can remember, since I was a young kid, since I was like 5 or 6 years old, I always needed something on before I went to bed. So every night before bed, I put on the Apple TV, I'll put on Netflix, I'll put on something. I just need that to take my mind off everything, and watching a show or watching something helps me to wind down before I fall asleep. So, all right, so this is the master bathroom. Again, we got the Monaco roses in here. Massive shower, 2 showers, huge. And again, showering, looking at that view, crazy. And you know, in a lot of houses, you know, some of the neighbors and stuff can see in, but here, no one's seeing in. And what's cool is that this bathroom actually has a balcony. So you can open up these doors if you're in the bath, if you're in the shower, and be more connected to nature. All right, so now let's go down to the best part of the house. Alright, so welcome to the best part of the house. This is, I guess we can call it the man cave. We have a lot going on downstairs. We have a full gym, we've got a hammam, we've got a sauna, and then we also have an entertainment room with ping pong, air hockey, foosball, and pool. And we got a cinema room here. There's like what, 6 seats? Got the stars in the ceiling. Come in here, watch a few flicks. Haven't done it yet. I prefer to be upstairs where it's more open and bright, but yeah, you got it all in this house. And that's what I mean about a compound. Like, you want to come here with a goal and a target, but you also want to have some things that you can do to take your mind off whatever it is you're focusing on whilst being in nature. So it's just really nice, you know, having everything under one roof. Having a compound where you don't need to go anywhere, you don't need to leave, and you're in the middle of nature. Like, that should be the goal for everybody watching this. Having a place like this that absolutely covers every aspect of what you need in your life, what you need in health, what you need in entertainment. You don't need to go anywhere. What more could you want? So that's why I love to come and do these trips and focus on what I need to focus on and cross off all the goals that I have for the rest of the year, because our years go fast, guys. Time flies, especially as we get older. Time starts to go much quicker and life just goes straight past us. That's why act on things now. I know that we're still early in the year, but by the time you blink, we're going to be at the end of the year and you're going to be like, fuck, why didn't I go and do the things that I needed to do? So that's exactly why I'm here right now. But now let's go hit the gym. I've had a long day. I've finished all the things I needed to do. I like to exercise and train generally towards the end of the day. I don't like doing it first thing because I feel like it distracts me a little bit. This gym is lit because it has a hammam, so a steam room that's built into the house. Then next to that, we've got the sauna, which is pretty big, it fits a lot. And then we have a shower. This gym has everything that you need to stay fit and healthy. And this is absolutely crucial when you are coming to the middle of nowhere and you need to stay fit and healthy. So now I want to go do something that I think everybody should start to do. Ping pong. Now, I know ping pong isn't the coolest sport there is, but interesting fact, there's actually a study on this that shows the #1 sport as we get older to keep our minds and our reaction time fast is actually ping pong, of all things. So it's meant to be racket sports, so any racket sports of any kind are incredible for you, but ping pong ranked #1. And I think as you get older, you know, when you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, you slow down a little bit, and so playing ping pong is one of the best things that I read in terms of stress relief, cognitive ability, reaction time. So every day I love to play ping pong. So I'm gonna verse the cameraman right now, who's been on a very, very bad losing streak. You wanna lose again?
I'm not losing today.
You're not losing today?
No way.
All right, let's go show him if you're gonna lose or not. Alright guys, so day's finished, sun's set, and I appreciate every single one of you for being here. I know it was a slow one, but this is exactly what we wanted to show. We wanted to showcase a raw day in the life. And I was sitting here talking to my cameraman and we were just reflecting about how crazy it is that this is just normal. And this doesn't just have to be normal for me. It can also be normal for you. If you change your mindset and you change your outlook just like I did when I was a young kid, then you're able to manifest whatever it is you want in your life. With manifestation and hard work, everything and anything in this life is possible. I say this in so many videos. I don't come from the best situation. I came from a poor family, single parent household, and I was able to manifest everything that I wanted in life. And I've done it without selling any courses, any memberships, nothing. This was all done by myself and the power of my mind. So the moments that I am able to reflect on all this, it makes me feel extremely grateful. There isn't a single day that I wake up and I don't take it for granted. I always remember where I came from, and where I came from was a place that I don't want to go back to. So in saying all of this, just remember that anything's possible. You see it week after week, people are changing their lives on a daily basis. It's the easiest time in history to change your life. We have too many things that are accessible to us. I don't think that I'm more talented. I don't think that I'm smarter, harder worker than anybody else out there. A lot of this is luck, but a lot of this is believing in myself and being able to execute when it counts the most. So thank you again for being here. It really means a lot. If you're not, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot to me. Now I'm gonna go back inside, chill out, maybe watch something, have some dinner. But for now, see you on the next one.